Hello and welcome to this video. My name is David Dawn. In this video we're going to be mastering navigation bars using the art of display inline block elements, or just inline block elements. And this is a really good way of learning how to create navigation bars using unordered lists and display inline block. And it teaches you about what the difference is between inline block and display block. And what happens and what problems that you can come into. So with that said, let's just get straight into this. So the aim of this lesson is to be able to turn this unordered list item to a standard navigation bar that goes from left to right, and rather than it just goes from top down to bottom. So we've got our unordered list, we've got our list items here, and we've got the anchor tags, and then at the end we'll just change some hover as well. I've removed all of the text decoration from the anchor tags, and I've said hey, color just inherit from its parent, so we don't have to worry about that. The body's just got 3 m's of padding just to push it in a little bit, and I've upped the font size, and I've changed the font family to Roboto, but that's about it. So with inside of our navigation, we've just got here div class nav, ul, li, a, and then we've got more of them, so no other CSS classes or any modifications like that. So the first thing that we want to be able to do is we want to make this UL, this unordered list, have none of these discs or these circles and so on. So that's done. But what we do know is just if we add a background color of, I don't know, A1 to here, and then we just say then color, color is equal to white. You can see that we've still got some form of padding and or margin here. So what I like to do is just to be thorough about it, is just remove all margin and padding on it. It's only really the padding that has that one problem. But if we remove the margin on it as well, we kind of solve a problem in the future as well that we might come about. Now, and I don't really want to get into that right now. So what we want to have now is all of these list items all next to each other in line, all right? And how can we do this? Well, we can do this first of all is by saying display in line, and you can see that they all pop in together, all right? And if we now give the anchor tags a background color of, let's just say 333 and so on, we can see that we've got some separation between the items. Now that has got nothing to do with the CSS. That's just got stuff to do with display in line, and also then the white space between these items, all right? And the only way of removing that is removing this white space. There are other ways of getting around this, but you won't get around this using inline or inline block, all right? So I'm not going to talk about it. You're just going to have to accept if you want to have no white space between there, remove it here. That's where the problem is. But visually, we're just going to keep it like that for now, and we're going to accept this white space. So now we have this. So we want to be able to, let's say, add some padding to our anchor tags, and we'll say, I don't know, say 0.4 ems on the top and the bottom, and then like 1.4 on the left and right. And we do that, and we now see that the background of the navigation bar, right, is now, the anchor tag is now popping outside of this one navigation bar. And you're thinking, why is this doing this? Well, if we change this to display block, the li doesn't change, right? If we display this to this to inline, it still doesn't change. And if we change this as well, it still doesn't change. So what is happening here is the question, right? And if we change the margin on this to 0, which it doesn't have any margin anyway, but if we change this to inline, does it change it? If we change this to inline block, does it change it? Yes. So it's all about how the parents and how the child interact with one another. Now we know that navigation doesn't have any margin. We've removed all margin on the li, and so maybe if we remove all margin and padding on the li too, and now remove this, just to see how whether we get the same problem. And we do get the same problem, right? So you can see that some of these things are going to, because of the padding, it was the padding that did that, it's going to step outside of it. So you kind of, you kind of have to tell the parent what's going on, so it can then properly, it can arrange the items properly. And this is what inline and inline block are doing. You're saying with inline, you're saying that it should just be the size of the content inside. Now padding doesn't really respect this, all right? And margin will push left on you can't change the height and the width of items with inline, but you can change it when it's inline block. All right, this is the whole point. Block says you can start changing the dimensions, the height and width, but padding doesn't really respect that anyway, because it doesn't really respect it. But so now we've done this, right? Remember, this spacing is to do with the white space in here. I just want to reiterate again. So now we have these items all in line with each other, and if we then bring it in, it's going to wrap to, I'm not going to get into wrapping the items, but this is essentially how you can do this. Now we can now say with the li, for example, when we hover over it, we can say background color is then going to be 444, and we want it to be background color is then going to be white here, and then the color here is going to be then 444, and when we hover over it, it's going to be then the opposite. All right, and as you can see here, and we'll take away the background color of the navigation bar, and let's just give it a quick border of 1 pixel solids, and then say A1 A1 A1, and there we go. So we have this nice effect now, and this is a really simple way of doing it. It's not the best way to do it, but it's a simple way of being able to create a navigation bar. That basically just goes in line, one after the other. Anyway, that was all I wanted to do. I just wanted to show you how you can do this. And this gives you a better introduction into using display inline and display inline block. So there we go. I would advise using display flex for this. It's far easier and far better, and display flex will remove all of that white space as well. But if you feel that you want to do it this way, this is also an optional way to do it. With that said, I hope you've learned something in this video tutorial. This video could go on for a lot longer because there's a lot more detail. There's a lot more things that are required to understand in this, but this should have been enough to give you that insight into when and why to use inline block when creating navigation bars or horizontal navigation bars. With that said, thank you very much for watching. My name's David Thorne. There'll be a video on the screen right now, which either I've recommended to you or YouTube is recommending to you. Maybe think about giving it a like or a dislike, a comment, one of them. But if you don't like this video, please feel free to put a comment in the comment section below telling me why you don't like it. And if I've said anything wrong, then please add it in the comments to help the other viewers of the videos be corrected and so on. Right, that's me done. Thanks then. Goodbye. Ciao, ciao.